Reality therapy postulates that there are 5 inborn needs: love and belonging, power, freedom, fun, and survival, and proposes that every behavior we exhibit is an attempt to have these needs met. However, reality theory also suggests that we sometimes develop dysfunctional behaviors to meet our needs, and those behaviors become the basis for how we perceive reality. Reality therapy states that we continue to exhibit these behaviors in order to obtain what clients would consider to be their quality world. Throughout the counseling process, reality therapists believe that clients can be shown how they create their reality through the behaviors they choose, thus the term choice theory. For instance, a CEO who has spent much of his or her life striving for power at work may become depressed because he or she has developed a repertoire of behaviors to meet the need for power, but has neglected his or her need for love and belonging. Reality therapists often use the WDEP model to describe the counseling process. W represents asking the client what he or she wants in an effort to create a quality world or success identity. D stands for doing and is the point where the counselor asks the client what choices and behaviors he or she is currently making to obtain a quality world. E stands for helping the client evaluate what he or she has been doing to meet his or her needs and to identify new behaviors that would be more effective in obtaining a quality life or success identity. P stands for developing a plan for change. The therapeutic process involves creating a trusting environment, working collaboratively with the client as equal partners, and being committed to the client as they explore the change process. In the following role play, we will see Dr. Celinda Gilchrist work with Todd, a 42-year-old male who has been struggling with mild depression related to work and life transitions.
Hi, Todd. What brings you here today?
Well, I've been feeling pretty stressed lately, maybe a little down. I've just noticed I'm pretty much not the same as I used to be. I just feel a little overwhelmed at times. I'm not really motivated, and that's pretty much it. I retired probably about 2 years ago, and I just don't have the same kind of level of go that I did before.
So you're feeling kind of down because you retired?
I don't think it's so much because I'm retired. I don't know. I think I don't feel motivated. It might be because I'm not as focused as I was in the military. I always had something to do. I knew where I stood. I had responsibility. People depended on me, and those things have changed. That might have something to do with it. I don't know.
Okay, so you're feeling a little down because you retired recently from the military, and you had more responsibilities, and your life has kind of transitioned or changed.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it might also be because I'm real focused on being a single parent right now and school, and I notice that if I'm not doing that, I'm really not doing anything else. But when I was in the military, I had friends, and I had a big support group, and I always had something going on, and it's just not that way anymore.
So it sounds like since you've retired, you lost a lot of your friends, and that support system that you had while you were in the military is now gone.
Yes, ma'am. I would think that would have a lot to do with it. I'm pretty much a cave dweller now. I don't much get out or anything like that. So, I don't have the. I had a good support group when I was in the military because, I was always working, but since I got out, they're all transient. So, I really don't talk to or see anybody that I used to work with. So it's just pretty much me and my 11-year-old.
Okay, so what would make you happy or feel connected again?
I don't know. I guess getting out and getting involved with other people, talking to them maybe. I just really don't know how to do that. I'm not sure how to just go out. I know when my son was playing soccer, I didn't feel as bad as I do now. And I guess because I was, talking to the adults on the sidelines while he was out there playing, and I had a pretty good group of friends then, but he hasn't played the last 2 seasons and sort of drifted apart with, me doing school and stuff like that.
So it sounds like you felt better when you were involved in activities around adults or activities that involved your son that allowed you to communicate with other adults.
Yeah, I mean, that was a benefit of going to the side. I mean, it doesn't really have to be with my son. I mean, that is always great, but I mean, just the adult interaction would be, probably better than nothing. I'm not really talking to anybody.
So it sounds like that what you would like to have is more interactions with adults and develop more support mechanisms of support from other adults that you had when you were in the military.
Yeah, that sounds like that would benefit me. I think this all started occurring to me when I like threw out my back, and I realized that I don't have the option to be off or have a sick day, or I'm a full-time parent now, and I have to go to school. I can't miss classes or exams or anything, and it occurred to me I don't have anybody to call, to step in.
Okay, so what would you want? What would make you happy? What would support look like outside of the military?
And probably just some kind of camaraderie, but I'm real apprehensive about being obligated. I don't want to be in a position, I think that's what holds me back. I don't want to be in a position that I have to do anything. I want to be able to, cancel out if I'm going to meet people on a Thursday night if something comes up, because I end up feeling really guilty if I don't, meet my obligations, and I just don't want to be pulled into anything. In the military, I had to do what everybody else said, and I guess maybe I'm shying away from that, so I guess I want the best of both worlds, be in a group but not be stuck with it all the time.
So you want some interaction with adults, but you don't want a required obligation.
Right, because for a time there I was getting involved with the church, and they were calling like twice a week, and I was like, it would stress me out because I felt obligated, and I don't want to take any time away from school or my son.
Okay.
And that is, most important to me.
Okay, so we're going to look for maybe activities or look for something that will allow you to interact with other adults and increase your social circle, but no time restraint, no time obligation.
Yeah, that would be the ultimate, because like I said, that I end up just severing ties if it becomes too overwhelming. I don't want to have that stress either, so I'd like to have some kind of adult interaction that I'm not, I don't feel required to attend.
So what